Hello again. So this is the first video I've made in a while, and the reason for that is that I started on a few projects, one of which didn't really pan out at all, and the other one just took a long time to do, and so I guess I got out of the habit of making videos. But anyway, the first one was to get the game running on my phone, and my phone is an iPhone, but I think I would have had the same problem with Android because the game is written in Haskell, and although some people have had some success getting Haskell code to run on iPhone, I ran into some big problems. So it's just not really viable right now. I think in the future, when the support is better and maybe I can figure out some of the bugs myself, I can try again to get it running on my phone. But right now, it's just not really an option, unfortunately. The second project was to get it running in a browser, in a web browser, that is. And I had a lot more success with that. It runs a little slowly. I hope to there might be some things I can do to improve that in the future. But yeah, once I want to get that up and running on the website soon, so you guys can try it out, so you don't just have to watch these videos. The next thing I worked on was to get the character models in the game. So if I zoom in here, you can see we have character models now instead of the skeletons that you've seen in the previous videos. And it was pretty challenging to get all the math right, to get if you watched the previous video, I explained how you have the skeleton animation and you sort of rig up the mesh so that it deforms along with the skeleton. And there's a good bit of math there involved just to get it all to look right. But it was pretty amusing whenever it would go wrong, and I posted some of those sort of outtakes, I guess, on my Instagram account if you want to check those out. But yeah, I did end up getting it up and running, and I'm not using all of the animations yet. You can see the mark is just in a running pose instead of a marking pose. But yeah, I have the ability to kind of get all those animations in. I also added some lighting, so you can see on the player here, the right side of their body is lit up brighter than on the left side. And that basically adds shading to give it a more 3D look, I guess. I'm not using textures on the model in the same way that I did in the previous game. So right now it has more of a cartoony, or you might call it a cell shaded look. It's basically just flat. And I think in the future I want to stay with that sort of more cartoony look. I think it just works better for the game rather than trying to go the more photorealistic route. And another thing is that while I was working on getting the game on my phone, I needed some way to manipulate the camera controls and editor controls and things like that, so I added this kind of button menu up here. And not much to show there, but it is there. And the final thing is that I have defenders now in the game. So we have two teams, the white team and the red team is on defense here. And you can see that the defense is playing, something that looks close to regular defense. I mean the defense that you might actually see in Ultimate. So if I take control this player and run them around, you can see that generally they're trying to stay on the force side, which is the right side of the screen. Sometimes they don't do so great. They might over pursue to the break side there, but it does a pretty good job, and I really didn't spend that much time on it. So I think for the work I put into it works pretty well. It's also a little easy to lose the defender, but those are things I can improve over time. So I guess the last thing I'll do is sort of show what the flow of the game kind of looks like now. It's actually pretty good, pretty playable. So maybe I'll try an in cut first. I'll cut out and then in, and then throw the pass there. That was pretty good. I'll try for breakthrough, and then maybe if I can lose them on a hook here. There we go. So, yeah, I'm on my way certainly to having a good sort of 3-on-3 game going. We need to do things like keep the stall count and respect the field boundaries and things like that, handle turnovers and so on. But that should not be too hard. So, I'll see you next time.